Well, all right. I'm going to do a little different show here this evening, this afternoon, this morning, right now. I'm going to not be able to see the chat right away. I do believe, oh, it's going on somewheres. I wanted to say hello, and then I was going to dive right into giving you where I think what wise is. What is wise, right? What could that be? Could it be something like this? Could it be, hello Han Solo, Silver Sage? Got a couple ideas I was going to throw out there. I'm going to share what I have found right here on screen. So let's see here. We're figuring it out. Let's push a few buttons. I have share screen on. I want to, here we go. I want to push this button. Bang. Yes, yes. There it goes. Takes a second for things to land. All right, so I've got this little window over here that I can put stuff in front of, and we can talk about things that we see over here. It's a lot easier to see. Okay, now I'm going to Galton Ghost, Silver Sage, JK Pioneer, right on. All right, so no politics, none whatsoever. This is going to be all about giving you some really, what do you call it? Thick information, valuable information. You all will have to decide what it is, if it has any kind of value at all. And one of the areas that we're going to head to really fast is we're going to head to those postmarks. And the postmarks that really seem to have a lot of oomph are the ones that have the 039 in it right there. So 039. This happens to be the postmark from Father on the Banco, coincidentally. But I thought it was interesting that this little number here, that 039, will show up in other postmarks. And I thought I would share a lot of where this information is. Now, let's see if I can share the desktop. Let's say we say yes. We come here. And then we have this little document. Now, am I in said document? I think it's figuring it out. Okay, so what you're seeing here in this document is the glossary. Now, I'm going to go on to the other page so I can see. All right, so if I make big screen on this, then you'll be able to see it better. So if I go like this, all right, so if I also go like that, does that help? Takes a second. All right, so what you're seeing is this is the book. This would be an index, okay? The red equals where there are no postmarks. Where you have no postmarks spells the word very much William. Right there, William, all right? Very interesting. And then these are the lines right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines that have a postmark that has 039 on it. I thought all that might be some kind of important. I guess we shall see, won't we? So, why would 039 be any kind of important, one would ask, right? Well, let's bail out of that. Let's go over here to share this and see if this is going to work. I think we're going to do a lot of banging around in screens. But let's see if we can't go to the periodic table right here. And what do you know? There's 39. And it's a Y. And right above it is S. YS. Is this what wise is? Well, if that was true, there'd probably be some kind of confirmation, right? Maybe wise would show up, or those numbers would give me some kind of confirmation that I'm on to something here with my periodic table Y idea, right? So let's go to the book. something in here would have to tell me that that's relevant, right? Maybe let's start with, let's go to where, well, let's go to this page. Hey, what do you know? That 039 shows up in the postmark on Surviving Myself, and that's chapter 8. Chapter 8. Just heavy load would be, well, it's 88. Well, that's interesting. Well, it's got to be more than that, right? I mean, 8's interesting, and that says 88. It's got to be more than that. So here we are on chapter 8. We haven't even made it to page 39 yet. And what do you know? We're on page 39, and the 8th word says 8 o'clock. How about that? 8th word, 8 o'clock. Well, that says 88, and I'm on page 39. Very interesting. And then other stuff on this page is silver and stuff like that. Well, that seems all very, very, very interesting. And sitting, huh? Huh. A bunch of words in here that seem kind of interesting. I wonder if that's enough to be considered subtle. What do y'all think? Is that considered a little subtlety, y'all, right there? Or is that just really loud and in your face? Telling you to pay attention to YS. Well, now, maybe there's something more, like Father on the Banco. Well, we already know that Father on the Banco has got that same postmark, right? Father on the Banco is that postmark with the big N7 all over it, for one, and then it's Thursday and all these other things, but most importantly, it's 039. So that's our postmark here, and that is chapter 21? Wow, really? So my S is 21. Huh. So it's putting these two things together. Seems to me. Surviving Myself. Fella's sitting on some stones. We have Billy right down here at the bottom of the page. Well, now that seems like a couple of things. So that's Billy right there. Now that seems kind of interesting because Will and Bill and Williams all are key word. He's telling us to look back. I don't know. I think there's some stuff. I think that might be a bunch of subtle stuff. And then we got home. I mean, Banco is clearly the home. Big O for the first letter. Huh. 3 rooms. Father sitting. Well, the same kind of stuff we heard on that other one. No. Maybe there's more stuff that'll kind of make us kind of look towards that. I mean, 4th and 5th row, 3rd line. I don't know. Maybe there's something else. Let's get out of this. What are you all talking about? Telling me I'm nuts? Yeah. Hey, Jackie. Ken Blythe, Lisa Smith, Han Solo. Hey, Redneck. Cool. Good to see you, mate. I am showing what maybe wise is, right? Perhaps wise is more than thinking of the word in wisdom. Maybe it's more. Well, here, let's try this. I'm going to see if this doesn't work. I'm going to bang into here. See if I can't start this from the beginning. See if this works. I'm not quite sure. And I thought I'd talk over it. Oh, I'm going to be... Dude, don't trip. Sorry. Sorry. Man. This would be known as what's called tripping through the chase. With Davio, 22. This would be kind of this... I'm going to polish this up and put us all out there. So what stands out? What stands out? What becomes contiguous? What becomes compelling to you? To me, just starting out in the front of the book, or the back of the book, I thought there was a whole bunch of stuff that seemed... I don't know, what's the word we're looking for? Obvious? You know? What is precision? Is precision About numbers and detail? I think so. Let's see what stands out. Like right there from the treasure chest poem chapter, which is 23. That's the image of it right there. By the way, that's got a 039 on it. To the back of the book. Now, I thought it was interesting that they're showing the box full, box empty, key on table, clean table. Nonetheless, it really shows that table. And then there's a key on the table, and the nuggets aren't on that side, but all these faces. And I thought, that's interesting. And there's lines that go through it and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, maybe there's something about this here key. Maybe we should look around and see what a key word would be. Maybe that key word is going to be somewhere where it does say table. Last page of the book, 147. The Table of History, the Great Banquet. Well, I thought that was ever so fascinating right there. Okay, Table of History, interesting. Now, would that be hidden in plain sight? Perhaps so. Remember back to this here table of contents that we have? Well, here we are on that table of contents, and obviously we're filling in the blanks. There's no chapter numbers, page numbers aren't always there, and for sure these postmarks, in their absence, spell out the word William. So I thought maybe there's something important about that. So here's William right there on page 105. Wow, that seems relevant. Big Brother Skippy, Main Street, all that kind of stuff. Those are all real important. There's a, what do you call it? A name, there's a continuity to this word here, William. And what do you know? He tells us how to find it. Right here on this here last page of the book. He tells us in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in the sixth word is 4. On the fourth row, he says. And look at that, block 23. Interesting. Well, look at that. The fourth word, the fourth line from the bottom is William. And what do you know? That's what he's looking at. He tells us to look. I thought, that ing comes off of that spanking. And look at that. It's right on that fourth row, fourth word. Principal Fenn. The page where he tells us on page 16, what do you call it? Postmark 16. Line 16 from the bottom, it says Mr. Principal Fenn. Well, we know his name is William. And interesting that on line 11, third word, out of 21 lines, it should say Billy. Now, this is what that, we're talking about a principle here. Principle? A principle. This is the principle we're supposed to follow, perhaps? Because, Dad is on the 211103. Well, now that's really interesting. I got Billy on the third word on the 11th line out of 21. Seems like there might be some hints getting you to go and find where a key word might be. Interesting that Skippy's name is exactly the same as his father's, and it's only Junior. So let's assume that William, Billy, Willie, and all these kind of words equal our key word. So that means where you see that word, that means there's probably more relevant information, right? So what I found was the periodic table was definitely represented on page 18 and 19, right? And if you notice that 18 is AR and 19 right there, so I'm going to hit pause on this. I think I can. Isn't that interesting how the periodic table and all these faces seem to have a little bit of the same kind of stuff going on? And I found interesting that KAR, or K, what is it? It's K, 19 is K, and then 18 is AR. So right there we got car, and clearly we see a car, and a car is important in this. And also interesting how the page numbers are missing on this full page photograph, which has been offset intentionally to put the middle of the page where it is, I'm going to guess. So it just seems to me this was a big hint visually to get you to the periodic table. Father being on the far right side, is like in Skippy is fourth in, being tin. Now, interesting that tin is the page number that Skippy is at, right over here, right? So 10 is the page that Skippy is, right? So maybe WISE is more about that letter Y and S, and those two things coming together, giving you page numbers to pay attention to more than others. Chapter number 21, Father on the banco. So that bench, that's sitting on a bench. Those words that are going between chapters are all becoming more and more important. Hey, what do you know? When you add these all up, they come to 88. Isn't that the weight of what 39 is? And in 1988, Forrest Fenn got cancer. So right there, just heavy loads, 88. There's your WISE right there. Shown on page 39, line 8, chapter 8. So atomic weight on 44. So I would imagine we go to page 44, we'll probably get some stuff. Well, this is being a little redundant, but this is me putting this video together, trying to show all these things right here. There's a postmark, so I gotta figure that other things in that might matter. The word Wednesday, and there. Well, hey, there's that keyword Billy. What do you know? Right there, Billy the Kid. June, huh? So this is now showing clearly that their top line, Mr. District Attorney, sure does make you want to look at those stuff on radio or music a little bit more, perhaps. I thought that was real interesting. Now let's just count from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom. We got 5 lines. Interesting, the number of lines that Forrest has depending on the chapter you are at. Now here, of course, is all the lines or the chapters in the book that have the 39 in it. I thought there might be some more important stuff going on there. So clearly, the word bench is going to matter. So if you come to some place, if you've been wise, and you found that there blaze, maybe that's the blaze you're looking at right there, and you look down, and you find a bench. I mean, what does this look like? Doesn't that look like a howling dog? Your quest to cease. If you found the blaze, look quickly down. The quest, just to this basic location of this big dog, is howling. Hound dog, right? Terry Scan with Marble Gaze. Well, this kind of stuff here, the rest of this here deal isn't quite figured out. I haven't worked all the details out, but you're kind of getting the idea. Let's stop the share right here. We're going to bail. We're going to bail. Uh-oh. Yellow. Uh-oh. We've lost control, Skippy. Oh, let's see. If I hit this button, will it take me back to a world I recognize? Let's see. Let's bail out of that completely. Nice. Here we are. I can see you again. Well, let me see if I can't go over to the chat stuff and see what you all got to say. Hey, there's Jackie. Was just kind of wondering, hey, Hooli. So I put this stuff out there so you guys get a sense of where I was going with this information. You all decide if that seems relevant. Is that what WISE would be? I mean, that does take the ambiguity certainly out of the equation. This would be more of a precise, what do you call it, action. It is giving you numbers, it's giving you lines. What to do with all of this would matter in said location. So I'm putting this out there to see if that doesn't resonate with people, to see if we can't show you some of the big parts. If you've been wise, this is what the wise to me means. There's obviously more to it, but that's a big chunk. So I thought I would do little videos that are more like this, showing where all the parts are that I have found. And you all can kind of put these parts together, see if they don't take you to other places. So that's why I call it, tripping through the book. Nonetheless, it is there. It is counting lines. It is counting words. It is showing what I do believe Forrest has shown us before. I believe that all of that is really clearly laid out in and on page 15. Now, page 15 I thought was clearly showing us what you need to do, what you should be doing, how you would proceed. this is a big, what do you call it? A big game, right? Then you would want to have something kind of tell you a little bit of where you should go. Now, this is page 15. Isn't it interesting that if you count from the bottom all the way up to here, it comes out to 79? You think this is a coincidence? The fact that he did 70 and 9? The fact that it actually shows up on page, or excuse me, on line 7? Or excuse me, what am I thinking here? Line 9. Pay attention! So here we are on line 9, and we have the word 79. Kind of thinking we left the land of coincidence there pretty fast. Line 10, and it says writ 10. So, I mean, there's more hidden in here than we realize. So, while you might think I'm, way tripping out there, this is there. That does say writ 10 on line 10. It is 79 on line 9. It is the 79th word from the bottom. This would be a way to hint to you on how to proceed through the book, how to find information. The word sit becomes really important because you are sitting on the banco. Father was sitting on the banco, your key word. So when he is telling you to, when he gives you these kind of words and they are standing out like this, I would imagine you should probably pay attention. Fascinating little fact here, that from here to the word my, or to the dot in, so from the dot in sit to the dot in, that precision from this line right here, you take it all the way up to the I in 9 from here, the distance between here is giving you 42 degrees. The whole thing between here to here is giving you 132. Well, that's where the page is for the poem. 42 being extraordinarily important, the weight of the chest. That page number also being important. Cool how 42, the word, shows up right over here as a big A. So the subtleties that are in this book that have been created in this is no coincidence. We have left the land of coincidence. The idea that there are 24 words from this line down is really interesting. So now as I sit here, which seems to dovetail perfectly onto, so hear me all. So why is it that I must go? So this would be like the third stanza, or yet an additional stanza to the poem. First few steps, right? Juniper, fire. All kind of chunks in here. Past midnight, definitely giving you a sense of direction off of a compass. Just past midnight, somewhere's just after 1. All this is going on page 15. P15, as in P15 on the periodic table. So I would imagine the N, O, and S, which are clearly on the poem and on page 15. Well, here's your big no. There's your big SO, big so, are all right here. Now, why would that be important that he would show us that kind of words or those particular items on there? Well, it's the same thing you're going to see on your compass rose. Notice they're giving us NO, SO, and O. This is your compass rose for the very compass you will need out there in the field. That's what's in your compass. Notice that we have an inside and an outside ring. The numbers on the inside would definitely represent chapters, and these easily could represent page numbers. If I'm correct, then there would be a lineup, right? Interesting how the treasure chapter, what page does it start on? Isn't it 130? Well, let's see. That would be chapter 23, correct? Well, let's go to 10. Well, how about that? Golden Moor actually starts on 126. So actually, right over in here. And then this is all chapter 23 right up into there. So chapter 24, 136. Is that where the chapter starts? Well, let's see, 133. How about that? Dancing in the Millennium, 135. So I'm going to say 135 right around, let's see, that's 32, 34, 36. So 136, 135. Yeah, chapter 24. So it looks like the last few chapters and pages line up to here, which is interesting because it'll take you to the other side of the compass. So you get sets of numbers. Perhaps those numbers will correlate to something in the periodic table as well. I'm showing all of this kind of data to show you the detail of what Forrest has probably done in this here chase and why it would be so hard, and why it would take so long, and how it becomes precise. As he says, precisely figure out this and that, right? Well, if I tell you to, if you've been wise, it's endless ambiguity. It takes you to what? So this is a way of actually getting precise numbers that will take you to exactly to Wyoming. Now, you know where it says, listen good and hear me all? Listen good and hear me all. That's a real important one. You know, when you listen and you hear, what happens? Well, it's the act of hearing, right? Well, there's words for that. What's the words that have to do with listening and hearing? Let's see. Let's go right here and let's say share. So what you're seeing is the word decibel, right? We measure sound intensity, also referred to as sound as the power or sound pressure, units of decibels. You know, like he's trying to get us to listen, bells, like Alexander Graham Bell. The word bell shows up in this how many times? Also, what's significant about the word bell is that it is measured by dB. dB is the measurement, all right? The measurement for decibel. There is a mass significance to this. What would be so important about the word decibel? I mean, he clearly is telling us about dB, right? Well, dB is 105. 42,105 puts you clearly in Wyoming as far as the latitude and longitude. So just simple observations based on what you got laying around without having any kind of specialized knowledge. You've got the word dB right here, right? dB. So that number 268 also probably shows up in some kind of important way. Well, I wonder if it doesn't show up right here on this compass, 268. Wow, 268 would be exactly right around west. It would also be right around, looks like CD 48 on the periodic table. Point being is if you go back and forth between these different items, you are going to have coordinates that will take you to a location. Now you are being precise. You have left the world of ambiguity. You are in numbers, precision. That's what precisely means when he's saying precisely, to my, what is it? Precisely, followed precisely. So the order in which these numbers fall become really important. So this is your compass rose that you just need to pay attention to. All right. What else? Periodic table would be super important. Okay, let's bail out of here. We're going to hit the stop share button. Come flying back on over here. Come back over here. There we go. All right. So this would be my interpretation of stuff that I see hanging out in the poem and how you would get to a very precise location. You use the periodic table. Obviously, he's telling you to use it. It's laying around out in the open on page 18 and 19. Couldn't be more obvious than that. Then he talks about elements. He talks about the table. So there's all kinds of ways. It's real simple and out in front that he's telling you to pay attention to. Right? I mean, the pages these words are on come up over and over as information that is relevant and is space out there in Wyoming. All right, so I've got a lot more to show you in all this, but I just thought I would start with the whys, and how whys will take you on a crazy journey, man. Now, I expect most people to say this is well, it's this, that, and it's what, y'all are gonna have all kinds of opinions, and that's fine. Nonetheless, you can't discredit that it shows up in the book, that these things are in the book. I'm not picking an arbitrary spice based on what I interpret a word to mean. No, this is based on numbers that are securely all over the book. 105 shows up more than once in the book. So, for instance, I think there's a couple of simple codes. Now, mind you, if you've seen K-Pro's breakdown of where her treasure hunt was, she didn't say there were any codes. Seemed like the whole thing was minor code. One can interpret the alphabet as a code. Its icon represents a sound. That would actually work out. Will lead you to the end of the rainbow, right? So that's right, exactly, Redneck. So the precision is taking the dimensions of the box. Weighs 42 pounds. I mean, he put in little nuggets so it would land exactly on 42. It's not just some random number. 42 is a very important number. It's part of your latitude and longitude. Get you right there squarely in Wyoming. And then listen good. Here, listen and hear is decibel. And then he talks about bells and percentages, etc. So you get decibel. Alexander Graham Bell. He had to go to the end of the hall to answer the phone. What page is that? Does that fall on a number that's relevant to dB? Perhaps it does. One would have to go down and look at all that. So I haven't read any of this stuff out here, but I'm trying to share a solution that has no ambiguity. No, I think it looks like this. I think it's over here. Nope. This is ambiguity removal. There's more than one way, by the way, to get to these same conclusions. I'm simply showing you the ways that are clearly in the book that are equaling these particular numbers. Page 39, 8th word, says 8. That's not, what do you call it? That's not gooey. There's no ambiguity about it. That would be 8, 8. And if you clearly go to a periodic table, 8, 8 is taking you to the letter Y. So if you've been wise, I think he's trying to tell you something. More and more like that. Han Solo, I'm really trying to... there's more than one way to get to these numbers, but I'm showing you the obvious and simplest way. What you're going to notice right away is that you see how I've numbered down these lines? Okay, so lines are the easiest code of all for you to look. Now, interesting that on Main Street it says 12 and 13. One would think that pages 12 and 13, or chapters 12 and 13, or chapter 12, line 13, he's trying to tell you something in these postmarks, which are clearly contrived. He's made these postmarks. Interesting. Now one has to stop and think that why is all of the postmarks on the left-hand side except for one? The one that's on the right-hand side is on Skippy's page. Right? So there's got to be reasons why he has done these simple little things. There must be. They aren't just there random. There are no just random anythings in this here, book in any kind of way. I was going to show this. Nope. Forest Pages Breakdown. Yes, I think I can go to Forest Pages Breakdown just in itself. Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, so here we are on what I'm calling the index or the breakdown, right? Now I keep an alphabet laying around just to help. Interesting that chapter 22 is V, and that W 23X YZ. This is how many chapters there are in the book. So this somehow has to be somewhat relevant, one would think. Okay? So it's the little things, the subtleties. Here is, Skippy the brother, right? Well, here's interesting that it is Friday, June 5th is the same as the treasure. So the treasure chapter and Skippy share the same postmark, date, down to the detail. So one would think that Skippy's chapter and the chapter north of Santa Fe, somewhere is north of Santa Fe, which is all has the 39 stamp, has got to be super important. And the fact that the postmark is on the opposite side of the page. So what does that mean? That means you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 postmarks that are all on the left side and one on the right, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that right? I got it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's like maybe 14 postmarks that are on the other side of the page, right? So interesting, we have this separation of postmarks. Clearly, one would think that if you've got a separation of this many numbers, that in itself might denote a latitude and a longitude. Just that, laying around in front. But maybe you've got to take these, because what I have noticed is that anytime it says 19 and there's a number after it, it seems like it's referring to the periodic table. I found that to be not every time, but often. So I'm wondering, in this little deal that we're looking at here, it's a very simple, from here down is a set of numbers, and then from there up is yet another. Very, very interesting. 13, 14, we're on chapter 13 and 14. So is he trying to show us the continuity of information between this chapter to the next? We're on chapter 12. He's talking about 13, 14, Main Street. Main Street as down the middle, as in, I think, the main part of the information. A line to follow, a thread, a string, all words that are in fishing line. Lines are in poems. Lines are in, there's lines on the mirror, there were lines on her face. She pretended not to notice she was caught up in the race. It's life in the fast lane. Hotel California. Lines are everywhere. I am speaking lines. There are many, many lines. So I got a feeling he is telling us precise locations via this. The ambiguity, this is ambiguity removal. That's my take on that. Now that's just the whys in this section of the poem. I have 6 other parts that dovetail obviously into this. Have I figured out to a precise single location that would be a 10-foot by 10-foot square that a box would be in? No, I believe he is usually using numbers, latitude and longitude, to get you into a location, and then he is using visual references to walk you to said location. That's my take on a lot of where we're at. I mean, especially the last bit of the book here really takes us to movies. A river runs through it and all these other things. So I definitely have been taken down a road which has brought me to a place that, of course, has a bench. I mean, if you're looking for something that is, I don't know what's the word we're looking for, to give you the sense, to let you know you're in the right place, you would have to have a visual recognition. Something in the location has got to be compelling, right? So I came to a place with clearly a very large rock I mean, you can't miss this big pointy rock. And down below it is a bench. And the bench has got the same roof line as chapter 21, Father on the Banco. This would be a banco. Here's the fire pit. So this is the banco, the bench. Below the big pointy rock, known as the blaze. And that is a bench. There's the rocks underneath it. Clearly a bench. And then, of course, where it is and all kinds of other information seems to be there. Buddy Holly, etc. There's all kinds of stuff to take you to the, that's another video. I kind of wanted to stick just to the numbers around the Ys and how you could find, seeing this condensed like this is really, really helpful. I mean, it's what's missing from the book seems to be, what seems to be really, really relevant. There are no chapter numbers, so I would imagine chapter numbers must matter, especially when you've got pages and chapters lining up in a compass rose. Gotta think that's gotta matter. The information that is subtly out there in front of us seems to be what will take you to a location. Hear me now and listen good. Decibel, right? Alexander Graham Bell measured sound. He did invent the telephone. There's your decibel, 105. The weight, the heaviness, just the load, right? 42. Boom. Those two numbers take you right to a big chunk of Wyoming. And then you narrow in to the last group of numbers. But the first set, 105, 42, boom, 42, 105. And then you have numbers that take you in to smaller and smaller squares into a location. Plus the visuals that are in the location to let you know you're in the right spot. So, this would be W22 putting out a video which is explaining, as clear as I can, a place that is precise, a place that is in Wyoming there's no ambiguity. Winding you to a place. The place because searching for Lewis and Clark, right? What's a doobie? Doobie-wah. Right on, Steve. Thank you. A doobie would be the big spleef man. Face palms. This is too much for Zozo. He doesn't dig it. I think it's too. He would think it's too complex. I find it. Row 4, section 23. What's interesting about the whole row and section words? Well, I'll show you what that all entails in the next one. But for now, Zoe, if you want to get your head blown off, you know what? I wonder if I can't show a chunk of that. So if I go here, and I go, let's see. So remember, you have to have a key word, right? A key word is based off of Ted Williams. For instance, we know Forrest really loved his baseball. We know he really loved fishing, and he's a pilot, right? So, who is one of the greatest of all those? You need to watch the HBO special about Ted Williams. This is free on Netflix. Oh, not Netflix. It's free on, what do you call this bloody thing? On YouTube. YouTube has got an outstanding, and I'm going to cue this up here and hopefully it'll let me play the very first part of it, because it is an outstanding documentary about Ted Williams. Ted Williams being Fenway Park. We don't think Fenway Park doesn't come into this? Are you serious? Mr. Forrest Fenn has an opportunity to use Fenway Park, which has the red seat. What? We're back to Banco? That's right. The seat. Forrest Fenn definitely used the red seat from the park. Now, where am I going? Boom. We're going to go right here. We're going to hit share. And let's see if this will play. This is just the best thing I've ever seen on HBO here.
He takes me on this car ride, right? He says he wants to ask me a key question.
Hey, Key.
I want to know, when you sit down in the theater and the lights go off and the movie comes on, what's the first goddamn thing you see? He says, all right, I'll tell you how it's supposed to start. It's a fighter plane from the pilot's eye, and it's flying over Korea, Seoul. And it's flying slow and sunny.
With that jet, and that looks a little bit like his trainer.
Bang! Wham! Boom!
Catch up, baby. Come on, catch up.
Boom! I mean, the biggest goddamn explosion you ever
Oh,
saw on the screen. And then it goes dark. Dark! For maybe 10 seconds, there's nothing.
like night.
And then when it comes back, there's the ballpark. And the crowd
And the crowds.
roaring. And that's how it's supposed to begin.
Damn straight. So what you're seeing is this wonderful HBO documentary on the baseball legend great Ted Williams. You bet. The splendid Splinter. The kid. Yeah. So you really need to watch this HBO Legends. It's really, really, really great. And Ted Williams, you know, that's Fenway Park. So Fenway Park has got what's called the red seat. I believe I've got that in print all the way back down here. And I can show you a little bit of what that is. Yup. There we go. Okay, let's see if this will come up. All right, this is coming up. Nice. So now I want to go over here. Where am I? Where'd everything go? Lost everything. Ha! Very good. We're going to share the screen. I'm going to show you why Ted Williams and Fenway Park are relevant. Extremely relevant. So what you're going to see right here in this section number 4, hey, so by the way, what are we looking at? This whole thing is called a key. That's right. The words on this side are a key to this, which is a key to the park. This is all a map key, right? So yet another key. We're looking for keys? Well, here you go. How about a fen key? I think the word fen might make this a little relevant. Just saying. Seems kind of important. Oh, gee, look at this. Section 42. Yeah, I'm not a ball player. I wouldn't have never known this. But section 42, the weight of the freaking box in row 37. Really? Seat 21. We're seeing section and row, just like on the last page. And I'm seeing seat 21. Well, chapter 21 is farther on the bunco. And on the periodic table, it is C and S. S, as in the S part of wise. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Maybe the most important thing about all this is the 502 feet. Are you kidding me? People have been within 500 feet. Well, this is why. Just saying Fenway Park puts you within 500 feet. Look at this. Section 111, an arched door. The original Fenway structure, part of their clubhouse. Part of the original clubhouse. Interesting, on page 111 is teachers with ropes. And you'll definitely see red print on that page. Gonna think that means something. Now we got the big concourse, sorry. We've got the gates, right? We've got all the gates over here. And then, of course, we've got the green monster. Now, what a wonderful map this is. I mean, we've got home plate. You've got section 42. This shows you clearly aligned. Fascinating, the right over here in section 15 is the big number 1, showing arches. Perhaps there are information that is about this that would then blend perfectly into your location, knowing, then helping you in your location. This map would easily lay on top of your space, your area you're at. So if you're at some place that is at 42, 105 Latin Long, and this fits on top of it, chances are you may have the right area. Maybe there would have to be a few other things that would kind of give you that kind of confidence, serious confidence, to let you know you're in the right place. So I'm submitting that this is one of the keys that you would use to figure out you are in the right place. I mean, it does say, Mom made, what was it, upside down pineapple cake? And he said, gee, is that on page 37 by any chance? I wonder if that's on the bottom of page 37. Sure would be a coincidence? I don't know. Is that where he was talking about making, Mom was making all these yummy things? Let's see, what page would that be on? Oops, too far. Well, here I am, 35. This is page 37. This is Surviving Myself. And what do you know? On page 38, it says, Mom's great pineapple upside down cake. Interesting. Pineapple upside down. Well, when I turn this over, the M's become the top of the page. There's just a few things that are kind of, I don't know. What else about that number that might be relevant? Chapter? I don't know. It's only one page away. I don't know. Maybe something. Maybe nothing. Sure seems like a lot of coincidence, right? I'm just thinking. Just a thinking. Could be a few things take you somewhere. Precision, numbers, precisely take you to page 42. Well, I'll show you about page 42, page 99, page 132. There's information on all these pages. If you haven't put numbers to your poem yet, you're missing out on a lot of information. Precision is numbers. You got 166 words. In order. Perhaps numbering from the bottom up, from the top down, will give you sets and rows of numbers. It kind of tells you to go section and rows right there. One can't just assume anything. One has to find some kind of numbers to take you through this, or you're just using, well, that tree looks like a blaze. That rock looks like a blaze. Yeah, you're going to have something that's a little more precise to take you to a location, don't you think? I would imagine. It's got to be something about that page 50 in Skippy, right? I mean, his own postmark is on the opposite side. So I would imagine that is the thing that stands out. That would be a chapter that is probably more relevant. Something about that. I think we'll go into all those things in the next Stavio 22 production of Where Information Is in the Book and how it will take you to a very precise location out there in Wyoming. We know it's in Wyoming. Forrest said so. That ambiguity is gone. So that's 42105. Those numbers are solid. More. BLM land becomes more relevant than any other land. Yellowstone, that's just to get kids to ask parents to take them someplace, and it also gets you looking up from Santa Fe. Yellow and stone, isn't that gold? A yellow stone is gold, not just sulfur, right? I mean, sulfur is a number on here, which is why that stone is yellow. Isn't that an element? Could be a bunch of reasons about this here. That doesn't seem very complex. That doesn't seem like that's really kind of specialized. That just seems like that's just laying around common sense. So, postmarks. The absence of postmarks clearly gives you a key word. What's not there is as more important to what's clearly in your face. I think we'll have to go a little bit farther into that on another day. Absolutely. Well, tell you what, let's see what y'all have got to say here. Twiggy! I would find it and never tell a soul. Well, there's nothing there to find, so we don't know. Diamond Lake, that's just a diamond. That's a cool shape, though. What is about a diamond? And what about diamonds? You might want to look at who's the famous thing about diamonds, like Elizabeth Taylor, right? Wasn't she in the movie Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and we're seeing that in the book. We're seeing a cat stretched out on a tin roof, so maybe it's more about that. Dr. Seuss is extraordinarily fascinating there, Hooli. And yes, there was some crazy cool information around that. I might visit the spot, Golden Gateway, whatever, something. Blaze. I've not read any of the, what do you call it, texting over here. So I'm now catching up for a quick second. Doesn't come forward in the next couple of years. That would be very odd. Well, I expect that. Yeah, there's the baseball diamond. Thank you very much, Lucy. Yes, you will find that the greatest catcher, number 5, nicknamed Hands, Johnny Bench, won greatest catcher award, and he's number 5. Ball player, so not just catcher in the rye, ball, baseball, diamond. When is a square a diamond? You're absolutely right. That is a baseball diamond. That's the only time a square is a diamond. Baseball. Thank you very much, Lucy. Lucy, that's very good. Lucy. So anyways, that's what I'm seeing there. So, of course, Fenway Park. How could you not use Fenway Park if your name is Forrest Fenn? The greatest ball player of that park, Williams. Ted Williams. Fisherman extraordinaire. Fighter pilot who quit baseball to go become a fighter pilot and instructor. Went back to baseball, left baseball again to teach pilots in Vietnam. You got to know this was a hero of Mr. Fenn. Comes back to baseball, such records, knocks the ball, 502 feet into section 37. Oh, excuse me, section 42. Known as the Red Seat. You can just type in Red Seat in Fenway Park. Just that, and you will get amazing information about all this. So, I'm going to guess that these are ways that he is showing you history, showing you these great things that have gone on, that mattered to him in his life. This is a way that you are having precision. I figured this out, I don't know, years ago. So I haven't figured it all the way out to the very, very end, to an exact position, and I will show you why in other videos. I'm going to call this the WISE video. This is all about the what YS is, how you get wise, and what that means. Is if you've been wise and you found the blaze, these two things, right? So then the next obvious video is, well, what's the blaze, Davio? What is the blaze? Is there something at that location that lets you know you have found the location out in Wyoming? Are these two separate places? Indeed. So I would think that would be the next information to show. So this is Tripping with Davio through the book, right? Looking at the stuff that is obvious. Looking at the things that are standing out. Looking at the things, right? That's what's going on here, Richard Rutherford. Is that tripping? Is that tripped? That's good. We're tripping on the... scraping on the terrazzo because it's just too hot outside, baby. That's right, California, Hotel California. So I think we have some of the ideas. Yes, I'm sure many people have the same ideas. It would be putting them in order, putting them into a location. You can find the blaze. The information from the blaze will then take you to said location, where we'll say what WISE is, and then you need to apply Fenway Park to that. And then you need to apply a river runs through it. So there are parts. For instance, Robert Redford. The Redford. So the page that we're seeing the car on, page 111 and 110, you're seeing a Ford with a guy with a hat on it. Not too unlike you're seeing Brad Pitt wear in A River Runs Through It. Interesting, the page number 123 is the same time of the movie a river runs through it. These little details I thought I would make a video from. So if you want to get blown away, look up a river runs through it, and then you will also notice that the time of that movie is the same as the page number 111, which is the page of fish. And they're standing on the bank. So I do believe Zozo Rock, there's nothing but baseball references all the way through this. Just by saying Fenway Park, we've got Baby Ruth, we've got all kinds of stuff. The name Williams denotes baseball. If you're looking for something obvious, how about a baseball diamond right there? Words don't have one meaning. He's taking you through many, many things. If you think it's just the value of the word that is in front of you, then that's why it was never found in the timely manner that y'all saw. Amelia Earhart. Interesting stuff about Amelia. She's not the only one setting flight records, Nadine. You might want to look up, or Jackie, sorry, look up one of the greatest pilots ever. His name is Wiley Post. Look up Wiley Post. Wiley Post, the inventor of the pressurized suit, tapping on the little red blinking light. That is also 105 on his wing. 105 is the wing number of Wiley Post. We're seeing postmarks. The key word is Wiley, or William, and he is a one-eyed pilot. Those are a whole bunch of words that are putting you together to move you forward to a lat and long. 105 important, extraordinarily important. Wing number, Wiley Post. Why is that so relevant? He died with great American hero, one of the greatest comedians ever, Will Rogers. Will Rogers, Temple of the Sun. Well, I'll tell you what, we're just going to have to show you that because you guys won't believe it. We want to say Sun Shrine, right? The Sun Shrine in, we don't want to say, I have to try to think and type. I'm going to show you. We want to go to Will Rogers. Okay. Will Rogers. There it is. Will Rogers, Shrine of the Sun. This is an incredible thing. Okay, so the relevance of this particular location is everything. So what you're seeing is the Will Rogers Shrine of the Sun. This exists because, well, let's just do this right in front of you. Wiley Post. Wiley Post, great American pilot who died with Will Rogers in Alaska. The two nuggets, the two big gold nuggets. This guy right here. Here's his airplane, right? You can't see it in this photo, but it is 105 on the wing. Look at that. There he is in his pressurized suit. Here's some postcard. I mean, the stuff that's about this guy is truly amazing. He is an American hero. He is one of the guys that set the records, like Amelia Earhart. So that pressurized suit, you're seeing our one-eyed pilot eye patch over the eye. Rainbow, the one-eyed witch in Wizard of Oz. Yeah, that's important. But nonetheless, here's our one-eyed pilot. You're seeing one-eyed coins. One-eyed pilot, Wiley Post, inventor of the pressurized suit, which Forrest talks about directly. The blinking red light on his dashboard. That ties Wiley Post and Will Rogers. Two wills right there, right? Where there's a will, there's a way. Takes you to this shrine. This building is truly incredible. You want to see all the pictures that have to do with it. Look at this crazy pointy thing with a flag on it. 6 stories tall, with the turrets all around it, like a castle. This is a shrine. Penrose has got his wife in there. You all are looking for a cemetery. Well, here you go. How about a shrine? So right there is all the elements you've been looking for. The word sun. It's like a big sundial. Penrose, right? The word rose. All these turrets that are around the base of this all have compass points on there. So he's telling you to look at that, to look at the, to what it is. It's a bell tower. It plays music every 15 minutes. I was looking for that particular part. It is a chapel. Everything you all have been talking about. The Westminster chimes play there. William Jackson, yet another key word, all over this particular area. So why is this important? Well, let's just look at the address. 4250. What, you might say? Well, I wonder if I apply 4250 with that 105, where will that take me? Will those numbers take me someplace? Yes, they do. They take you clearly to a place in Wyoming. Clearly to a place with BLM land. In my next little video, I'm going to take you, I'll show you all those little details. That is not baseball related. Well, how is it not? So what you're saying is you're finding what is not related and you're denying how it could be related. So you're saying it's more no than yes. So it's how you look at a thing, right? I'm saying that it is, the glass is half full and you're saying it's half empty, right? Baseball is subtly all over this. Subtly all over this. The guy's last name is Fenn. Do you think Fenway Park plays into this just because his name is Fenn? Why not? You're going to say this matters, but this doesn't? Does that help narrow it down for you? Got you nowhere. You want to have more inclusivity. You want to have more numbers. You want to have more information. That's why this took so long, right? That's why this shy guy from the east, the shy guy who was low from the east, had some numbers. Precision is numbers, right? So you can say there's no baseball? Sure, go ahead. How did you get from this to Medicine Bow? 105, 42 takes you to Medicine Bow. Do I have to, well, I'll tell you what. Watch. Let's do this. Let's take you there because it's hard for you to see the leap. For me, this was a simple leap. I was always looking for numbers. If you were not looking for numbers, you're not going to see them. All right. And precision is numbers. Okay? So let me pull this. I'm setting the map up so I can show you 42105. I'm just kind of backing this Google map up here, and I'll do screen share. Because, I'm probably pissing off everybody. That's fine. You can't, because it's really hard. I say all these things like it's easy. It took me so long to even come up with the idea that I could, and that's not true. I came up with the idea, but I kept saying, no, he wouldn't do that. And so then I started writing down how many times I said, no, he wouldn't do that. But yet, here's this thing out in front of me. Okay, well, here's the town of Douglas. 42105. Boom. There you go. Just this particular town. Here's Casper. Then you say him and his brother were at Casper. There's, whoops, I got to go a bit lower. Where's 106? Well, 105 is over here. So between Caspe and Shoshone, right? That's what he said. Shoshone would be, well, here's Medicine Bow. Medicine Bow is huge, by the way. It's not just that little thing right there in the picture. Medicine Bow is pretty much all of this. Medicine Bow is all of this, all of this. Pawnee, see, it goes down here to Fort Collins. Colorado is right here. So look at, bang. What is this? Oh, well, 41. So over here. So right around in years where 42105 is. Right? So isn't that kind of between Cheyenne? Where's Shoshone? Over here. So we're getting numbers that are out here. Okay, well, that, and this is 25. Then you say put a quarter under something. Yeah. So you're seeing words that show up all over the place. But that's not enough. You know, we expected to see some big X on an X marks the spot, right? We expected to find something that would stand out, right? Wow, what is this big X in the middle? That's a trip. Why is there a big X here? That sure is weird. There's a big cross in the middle of everything. Huh. That kind of stands out. That might be worth looking at. Huh, I'll be darned. 42105, well, it's in that vicinity. That sure is interesting. This is all Medicine Bow, by the way. It doesn't show up on Google Maps as those words, but this is clearly Medicine Bow. And I'm looking at a big X marks the spot. That sure is interesting. So there has to be more than just that to get me down there. There's got to be something else that would draw me in. Something that would be, I don't know. What's the word we're looking for? Compelling? Compelling would be good. Oh, look, Fort Fetterman Road, FF. Huh. Well, maybe that's something. I don't know. Maybe we got to get closer. Maybe we got to get a little closer. I don't know how to get rid of that fucking heart. How do I get rid of this bloody saved location crap? Don't know how to get rid of this. Don't know at all. But do you see this little... Here's the nose. Remember he touched the nose of Washington? There's the nose. Here's the brow. There's, like, just under his nose, there's his face. So I'm seeing a face. Do you not? Isn't that pretty obvious? There's the brow. Here's the nose. Under the nose, into the mouth. And we're on Indian Creek, watching Indians chase chickens. Oh, how about that road out here is 61? Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Because it's 61, and I think it's 60. I think it turns into 61. I think over here is, whoa, is, what do you call it? 16. I think the road goes from 16 to 61. But we are at 42. Oh, by the way, this is school. There's a rock over here known as School Rock or Schoolhouse Rock or something. So the word school shows up right over here. There used to be a schoolhouse out here and it's gone. But anyways, what you're looking at is a silhouette of a face. Clearly, we're looking at the top of the head, down to the brow. This is the nose, under the mouth. We're seeing clearly a face. Maybe there would have to be something there that would be compelling. You know? There would have to be. Well, there's some rocks there. That's interesting enough. Right? Maybe there's something there. Just maybe. I don't know. But it sure is 42105. And then you got the next set of numbers, 39, 69. But we have this next set of numbers, right? So that would be more precisely taking you into a spot. Maybe there would be something. So just from this, is that enough to get you in the car and drive there? Yeah, it looks like some kind of rock. I don't quite get what that is. And then there's this rock with this little, I don't know. Is that a letter T upside down? It's just, I don't know. Okay. So, I'm just saying that there might be something that would want to take you all the way out to Wyoming, just from those images. So 42105, clearly. Oh, I didn't show you the BLM land. Yeah. So that little rock is clearly on BLM land. Yes, indeedy. It is. So that would be like the final caveat. That if it's not on BLM land, you don't want to be getting in your car, right? I mean, you just diminished the odds tremendously by doing that. So it would have to be on BLM land. So that BLM land might show you something in itself, right? Maybe the BLM land has got something in itself that would compel you. I think that's a really important word. Right? So here we are on that road 61, right? And here's our little face. Well, all this is BLM land out here. Now you're going to notice that our little face is in that little triangle right there. Isn't that fascinating? And yet there's another triangle below it. But that puts that creek right in the middle of that triangle. And that puts us on BLM land. National forest on both sides. So we've hit a lot of markers. I got Road 16 or Road 61. I've got what's called School Section Mountain out here where we are. So we know that that word is important. I'm on Indian Creek, chasing chickens around. So we know the word Indian shows up. So we got all those words that we kept hearing. FF, Fort Fetterman. A lot of stuff to get you to this one particular place out here. So having a big face, it takes you to some rocks from a road. I mean, this is less than a mile. This is where you'd park. And you walk along just to here. It's even shorter this way. And this is a big mine over here. Quartz mine. So you can easily walk out here less than a mile to this spot. Easy, downhill, gentle, 80-year-old man walk. Right there. Nice walk right to this spot. No big deal doing this twice in a day. I have. It's easy peasy. Especially if your kid was able to come in this way. You can lease this mine right here. And you can drive pretty much all the way to here. And it's a short walk. So if he leased that mine, which I doubt it, easy peasy walk. So we got the big parts. We got a triangle for BLM land. We got Wiley Post taking us out there to that location. We got a bunch of other stuff taking us there, but I got a feeling once you get out into this little area, this begins to become really important. Because this physically is a space you would move around to. So, well, let's see what y'all are telling me. You're going to tell me I'm not, I'm this, I'm that, I'm sure. Throw that away. What do we got? Find a grave, you can leave some virtual flowers. Oh, a virtual forest. Oh, legacy. Oh. You guys are talking about leaving flowers for a forest? Talking numbers, Marty knew that. There you go. Yep. What's Gallatin Ghost have to say? I drove Santa Fe a few days ago. Oh, love. Yeah. I agree. We really do want to give something, don't we? I feel that as well. I really, really do. Leo. Well, that's very cool. Very cool. Right on. Very cool. Well, there is. Have you all seen Jens's beautiful video? Can't play that enough, I tell you what. So I'll put that up another time. Anyways, I'm all talked out, and I kind of put out the thing I really wanted to. How long did it take? I'm not live. Oh, this isn't live. Sorry, I am live, but this window isn't. Now I'm live. Now I'm caught up. Got it. The lag times. And I'm maneuvering. By the way, occasionally I do screen captures, which I can then make drawings from because I'm always making crazy little drawings of stuff. So if that's, I need to keep practice drawing. So I'm trying to make drawings of people that I see on here and send it to them. So that's what I have in screen captures. Just thought I would share a little bit of stuff. If you see stuff on my background or whatever, that's what I'm doing. What else can I tell you? So those are big chunks of what I wanted to share around the whys and what whys would take you to out there in the middle of somewhere. One of these days, I'm going to make an extremely condensed, heavy, all information video. It'll be extraordinarily hard to follow. It'll be up to you to then look up the references. I probably will list the references below, but I want to probably make 3 more videos, maybe 4, that talk about how you figure cool water and how you end up at that building in Colorado that takes you. In other words, I was going to show you more parts. So it only talks so long, like this. This is compelling. I'm hoping you find that it actually is more substantial, more precision driven, more number driven. Pilots and pilots, their favorite tool, isn't this exactly what Forrest says? He loves to turn everything off, and then he just flies by a compass. Not even a compass. Dead reckoning, you don't even need a compass. Dead reckoning is you fly to the big, crazy mountain you see off in the distance, and you maintain altitude, and you fly towards it. Once you get to that, you pick another one. So Pikes Peak, good mountain range to follow if you're a pilot. Stay high enough, and you're out of the turbulence, and you can follow that range. You don't need a compass. You can't miss. You obviously know where you are. So I got a feeling this is a lot of what he's hinting about, subtly hinting about, in a compelling, contiguous way. Contiguous is interesting because it really you have to like put one foot on the ground, make sure it's solid, and then step on to the next foot. Your foot hasn't left the ground from the last place yet. So if I say 95, 90 and 5, here's the 9, here's the 5, become relevant. That's how numbers can be contiguous. Not only the number in front and the number behind, but the numbers that are relevant in your heavy load, atomic weight. So now you've got a number. 39, you've got its atomic weight. 88, does page 88 have some numbers that would be relevant? Or is it after 88, the 906 part? Could be. So page 9, page 06, would those pages have more information that would back this up? Have something that would be about 88, 9th line, 6th line, 9th line, 6th word. These are the same simple codes, mind you, the K-Pro has done, right? And she said there was no codes. Yet the row of numbers across the bottom of her page coincided with the with the text that just above it. She didn't think there was a code at all. Indeed. Perhaps code and cipher are 2 different definitions, and yet they denote the same sort of structure of a thing. So I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, you decide. There's no gray. You can't be in the middle. It's a yes or a no. Yes, baseball he used. Yes, he used the periodic table. Yes, he used fishing manuals. Yes, he used a compass rose. Yes, he used movies. Yes, he used photographs. Yes, he's using little indications like looking back. Is he looking back at Texas? Isn't that Jennings who sang that song, Make It a Big Hit? I'm seeing, what is Golden Square? A baseball diamond? Look at that. We're seeing a box open and yet at a 45-degree angle on yet another page. So he's trying to tell us about degrees. He has a, you know what I mean? If you superimpose these 2 across, you get a line going across this big black space. Yeah, there's something going on. There is this kind of information that I believe which is relevant. Definitely start looking into The Wizard of Oz and the books previous. The Good Witch, Billy Burke. What's our boy's name? Forrest Burke Fenn. Billy Burke, the Good Witch. There's your key word. Billy Burke. I mean, that's using a big chunk of Forrest's name. And the book in the first original book of the Wizard of Oz, the Good Witch has one eye. It's telescopic, so she can see far. Trippy little witch lady. But nonetheless, that was what Billy Burke played. Rainbow? Yeah, I got a feeling it's not talking about ice cream. I think he's talking about Billy Burke, who was part of a production studio called Triangle Productions, which is the production company that made Over the Rainbow, Wizard of Oz, OZ. Interesting, right? Numbers can come into play really fast. Movies, movie times are coinciding with many things. Yet videos to come out to show all these details. Trying to expand one's brain, ideas, concepts that are extraordinarily simple into simple parts. Bunch of simple parts make a V8 motor. The atomized perfume bottle is the #1 part of the carburetor. So a bunch of simple parts make a V8 engine. A bunch of simple parts put a box somewhere in Wyoming that we were trying to find. This is what I submit to you, Your Honor. And let's see what you all have to say about that. Do comment. Put out lots of noise. Let us collectively work together to a single point, because I believe the Latin longs are going to take us somewhere. Okay? The 4269 or 42, I believe it's 390, the numbers. Same thing going the other direction off of 105. I do believe collectively the game is afoot, and we can work together to find those group of numbers. We can find them collectively before said finder, Shy Guy Finder, makes his appearance. Aren't we all very cool? You know, that's a nice little project. Need to do something that is less in the world, and I find this is still fun to that degree. So, my little dropouts, let us, my dropout crew. So why don't we all get together and look at these page numbers, dates, lines. Isn't it fascinating how there is no continuity to how many lines on a page? It can be up to 31 lines on a single page, and as few as 5. What's the least amount of lines is ever put on a page? Is there a continuity of pages that with the page that has 12 lines? Is that now referring to that one part of the chapter that says 12 and 13 on Main Street? Or 13 and 14? Could be that we are collecting pages which are more important than others, or in an order. And that is how you extract information to a given single spot. Sounds complex? What it is that you have to actually put in the time. I mean, I put in the time to make an index. Who wants to count words? Do you want to, you see the poem right there on the wall? So this poem on the wall right there, this is numbered from the top to the bottom, from the bottom up. Not only is it numbered from the bottom up, it's numbered with a version of the letter I being the first one you use to count up. I believe that he used something as simple as that within the poem. Is the poem the answer? Likely. Very, very likely that the structure of the poem and the words in the poem could be our last longitude and latitude numbers. Why not? Page 15 clearly tells you to count to word 79. I mean, if you haven't done this to page 15, why is it bold? The entire page is what I consider bold, right? So there's got to be a reason why he did that on this page. There's nothing for nothing in this book, right? You have 13 lines on page 15. The next page is 14. So I'm going to think that these pages work together in trying to give us some kind of information, right? There's how many lines on page 14? How many words? And is word 79 on page 14 important? Is word 79 important in the poem? I mean, it is gold, after all, on the periodic table, right? That does not stand out as a thing 79 is gold on here. Right? Well, I would think that the number 19508 might be relevant. That's a lot of numbers. 195 could be a killer heading, could be a compass, could be many things worth looking at, right? 79, no coincidence, not for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you, the game is afoot. The game is compelling. There's my word up there that I can't, by the bunny ears. Compelling may equal going down a rabbit hole, but compelling and contiguous, those words roll together. Right? What compels you? What is contiguous? How are these things going to work out? We shall see. You know what? I got one thing I want to have left as an image as we fade to black. Ooh, I like the idea of fading to black. I know I'm not reading any of my text. I couldn't be distracted. I really needed to just seriously focus and get a a compelling, contiguous thought out. I thought that was important to get that out. So here we have from Susie. Susie is also letting us know that we all are second place searchers, and here is your certificate. Yes, I think we all need to be making these and mailing them to each other, but you are a second prize winner. That's right. The committee of one has decided that I am a second place winner, just like you all. And what do you win for that second place? Clearly the big prize, little stars. We win little stars. Yay! So I do believe that there is much afoot here. And all of this is done with great love to Mr. Forrest Fenn. I think this is a genius bit of work, and it certainly doesn't feel over in any way. Let us see if we can't come to an agreement. Is there information like this out there that we can agree upon? I mean, it does say 79 after all. Perhaps this is taking us somewhere. Perhaps, yes. Ooh, that was cool. Make an impression, good or bad. That's what I say. Thank you, Susie. Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear your input. Could Davio be in a location? Could it take this kind of work to get you to a place that might get you to where a treasure was hidden in the wild out there in BLM land of Wyoming? I submit to you. I also hope that other YouTube channels take this information and run with it. Let us see where it takes us. Counting pages, counting lines, chapters, postmarks, dates, Norman Rockwell images. You had a whole thing I'd love to do with Alan Kay. And Smell the Sunshine. Boy, would I love to hear from you, because the nice way that you do your videos, I certainly would love to inundate the information I have into your style of information projection here, information storytelling. I think it's really, really neat. I do believe this is the way. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk again soon. I now need to push buttons. I'm going to hit the stop share. I do believe stop live stream. Let's hit that button first.